A LEGO-themed world with the ability to freely build, let down by two pretty major flaws. So this is the game most children would have killed for not so long ago. LEGO Worlds is another take on the craze that Minecraft started, but this one is special purely because it's LEGO. It's an open world exploration and adventure game with all the freedom of a sandbox. There's no story to speak of, but you do have a campaign in a manner of speaking, as you need to collect the golden bricks in order to maintain and upgrade your spaceship, and this is achieved by doing quests for characters and finding chests dotted around the various LEGO worlds that you visit. In my opinion, the game has a pretty slow start as it has to introduce quite a wide range of tools with a lot of different functions to the player, and given that it is clearly catered to a younger audience, I appreciate that it's necessary. The only small complaint that I have is that the initial landing wasn't exactly explained clearly. I wandered around aimlessly for a little while before I finally worked out how to actually get my ship working again. That aside, each tool is introduced one by one using specific quests which require you to use the tool in a certain way in order to achieve the goals. It's pretty easy once you've gotten into the swing of things, but this is where the game starts to show one of its critical flaws. The interface for the entire game is unbelievably clumsy and requires you to click through so many menus to get what you need. I appreciate that they've included a lot more tools to aid with the manipulation of the environment than other games I've played like this, but it's not exactly elegant. The most telling part of the interface being a mess is when you're trying to get underground but you can't tell what the hell is going on because the camera is constantly moving around and can't decide where to be. You are given 5 primary tools to play with. The most important of these seems to be the discovery tool, which allows you to find new plants, characters, vehicles, and replicate them once you've paid the required number of studs to unlock it. It's basically like having a LEGO catalogue in your back pocket, which you can spawn anything you want whenever you want it. Arguably the next in terms of importance is the landscaping tool, which allows you to raise or lower the ground, delete blocks, flatten the ground to smooth out surfaces, and you can even change the scale that you do this at. Until you get some inventory items and vehicles, this is the best way of reaching dungeons. Disappointingly, the build tool is pretty bad in my opinion. It's incredibly awkward and slow to use, to the point where I actually didn't want to build things. Considering this is LEGO, you'd like to think that this was the strong point. There's also a painting tool and a copying tool which operate as you might expect. The tools do become a little more user-friendly when you open them all up using the free build mode, which essentially gives you quick access to all of them at the same time. As you might expect, this is good for when you actually want to create something, but you don't want to use it all of the time. Now the game itself, as I briefly mentioned before, revolves around collecting golden bricks. These are pretty much the progression system. As you deliver them to your spaceship, it allows you to create bigger worlds to explore and grants you additional tools to aid with interacting with the environment. The way you get these is by completing menial tasks for the natives of the world you visit, such as collecting a set number of animals for a farmer, finishing off their constructions because they're too lazy to do it themselves, and rescuing their incompetent pals from ditches they've fallen in. Pretty much exactly what you did in the tutorial, on a loop for the rest of the game. Another way to find the golden bricks is finding large shiny chests which are almost always in the tunnels underneath all of the worlds. Now initially I found these a real pain to get to, but when I finally worked out how to use a helicopter, it actually wasn't that difficult, but the instructions are misleading. I found that you could fly to the edge of the map and get access by just landing in the side of the world. This aspect of the game is also made a whole lot more fun when you finally get your hands on some terraforming vehicles, which you can use to drill through the landscape, and it makes it a lot easier when you get things like a pneumatic drill which allows you to drill directly down wherever the shining light happens to fall. And the final way to get the bricks is by capturing little green men which spawn randomly just to pull faces at you and run away. It's kinda like a game of tag, and the reward is whatever they happen to be carrying, but it gets pretty annoying when they go in the water because you can't catch them. Now I've mentioned one of the flaws, but the other flaw which I think is unforgivable is the fact that you can't seem to build your own vehicles. I was hoping you could at least build off the standard models and make them a little bit more custom, but nope, you get whatever they give you and that's it. The best part of construction toys like LEGO is making things that actually work. Sure, it's nice to build a house, but what's the point if you can't build an awesome wrecking machine to throw at it and see how much damage it causes? My opinion of LEGO Worlds is that it's good, harmless fun that gives you a huge amount of freedom to play around with an unlimited supply of LEGO. This is basically what any LEGO-loving child needs, but it's let down by some pretty major limitations, and the fact that I'm put off building because it's hard work suggests that the mechanics could do with a full rework. It's certainly worth the relatively small price tag when it's on sale, but I hope that either there are some big updates or LEGO Worlds 2 on the way, which iron out some of the problems I've mentioned here. This would probably have blown my mind about 20 years ago, but the magic's definitely still there.